most cringe-worthy moments in TV history. That's saying something. And it's called Married at First Sight. The reality show kicked off a second season this week with 3 more couples that were matched by a panel of experts and met for the very first time at the altar. Get it? The altar. All right. Now, if you're dubious about this whole day idea, why would you be? Last season, Jamie and Doug produced the most awkward wedding day moments ever. But after 1 year, they are 2 of the 3 couples who are still together and appear to be very happy. But let's remember, this is reality television.
All right, believe it or not, this time around, there were more than 7,000 applicants, which were narrowed down to the 3 couples. And guess what? Those brides are here.
Yeah, they did it. They got married. Jacqueline Methuen is a 30-year-old sales rep. Davina Cooler is a 34-year-old sales rep. And Jessica Castro is a 30-year-old receptionist.
And they're here with psychologist Joseph Salona.
Crazy as they are.
One of the experts who screened and matched the couples.
Hello, everybody.
Hey.
Great to see you. Welcome.
Let's start with you, darling.
Because we saw you coming down that aisle.
We saw you coming down the aisle, and he was excited. Oh my God, I'm so thrilled.
His eyes lit up when he saw you.
This is the footage. I think we've got some of the footage. So as you're walking down, as you're walking through the door, he sees you and he thinks he hit the jackpot. Oh. And then you don't seem to think there's a lot of expletives and bleeping out. So anyway, tell us what was going on when you saw him.
Well, you know what was really happening is I put so much pressure on my intuition, and I thought I was going to know that this guy's my soulmate, and we were going to have that connection and those sparks. And
why
was I going to recognize him?
Why?
Because I've been single for so long. I've watched too many rom-coms. I know. I really thought that I was just, my soul was going to recognize my counterpart in him, and we were just going to light it up, and it was going to be perfect. And the reality was he was a stranger, and I didn't know anything about him, and I hadn't had a conversation with him.
Did you know his name?
I didn't know anything.
I don't know anything.
I had no conversation with him. I had never heard his voice.
Good doctor, you're the one who's responsible for matching up the women with the men. And you asked a series of questions, right?
I am partly responsible. It's myself and 3 other experts.
Okay.
Oh, blame it on them.
Yeah. All right. Question, just so people at home can take something from this as well. What are important questions that you thought about, that you asked, that you said that will make for a good match, that other people can ask in their own lives when they're dating?
Okay, it's very important to understand that this is a really, really intense process. Just my part alone, I administer 5 different psychological personality tests, very powerful instruments. I created a questionnaire that covers anything and everything you can.
Give us a couple of important ones that we can ask.
I ask about values, family history, family relationships, personality traits. The instruments are really the most powerful. All of the data together yielded this past season over 3,800 pages.
Yeah.
Okay, but you have to assume that they're giving honest answers.
Yeah.
Yes, but my instruments actually can weed out people that aren't being honest.
Instruments. Davina, let me ask you so you liked who you saw, am I right?
Yeah.
But your mom didn't come to the wedding.
Yeah.
That's got to be devastating.
She didn't want you to do the show to begin with?
Yeah, I mean, look, in my family, I've been the risk taker.
Yeah.
I always have been. I moved to New York.
Sweet. Look at this. Yeah, all right. So tell us.
It was very cute.
Okay. So you decided to take the risk even though
I took the risk,
upsetting your family.
And I mean, and the other piece of this, my family's in the West Coast. I wasn't even able to sit down and look them in the eye and sort of tell them this. So I respect, and I respected their decision, but, I was still speaking to my mom through everything, and she was still there in the way that she could be.
You think she'll come around?
Yeah, I mean, I think that as we stay tuned, we will see what happens.
Parents want their children to be healthy and happy, ultimately.
And they want
if she
that.
finds out that it was not a crazy thing to do.
Jessica, you were worried because you've been cheated on before, and you have to build a trust with someone. So you look down the aisle and you see a total stranger. How did you overcome those fears you have inside you innately?
Right. Well, I mean, I wasn't gonna let my past define me, and I wasn't gonna just assume that I can't trust this person. You watch season 1 and you see 2 successful marriages, and you have to think of it like this is gonna work. This is what you want, and you really fight for it.
You talk about it in terms of seasons, but this is your life. Like you're like, let's wait for season 1 and 2. But you're living a life.
We're married.
I just want to know what happens after the wedding. Is there a reception?
Yeah.
How was you picked out your favorite song because you happen to know what is
you picked the song?
There's none of that. So then there's the honeymoon.
Families were there.
You got honeymoon?
Yes.
You do? Did you have sex on the wedding night? Do you? I didn't even know it's the same meeting day.
To tune in.
Lord have mercy. All right, you can catch Married at First Sight on A and E.
It's unbelievable. Designer duds delivered to your doorstep. This I understand. Every month.